if we're looking at other teams, I think the most interesting team is Vanderbilt because they started out so hot, undefeated for a long time, 16-0. And then they go on a losing skid, lose 3 in a row, get killed by Texas, lose to Florida in a heartbreaking fashion, and then get destroyed by Arkansas. So you're sitting there and you're like, okay, what is this team, right? And since then, they've won 5 of their last 6. So it's like, okay, like they're still near the top in net rating and everything seems okay. This team kind of reminds me a lot and this team got brought back up with all the Jerome Tang news and all that stuff, but it reminds me of that Kansas State team a little bit, where you're sitting at a small guard, Tyler Tanner, that's creating things for the team. He gets a ton of steals. He gets a ton of assists. He gets people in the right spots. Vandy's near the top in all these metrics, and you're kind of overlooking them a little bit. But I think they're a legitimate team. I mean, you got Tyler Tanner, who's averaging 18 points a game. You got Duke Miles, 16 points a game. Tyler Nickel, fantastic. You got all these guys that can really make things happen. They're a good free throw shooting team. They do the stuff the right way. So Vandy's a really interesting team where it's like, okay, it has to be put together. One of my rules in the NBA is talking about like small guards is like, okay, if you have a small guard leading you, you're probably not going to win a title. Vandy's not going to win a title. I do not think that's going to happen. But the thing with Vandy is I do feel like they're good enough and like deep enough to be able to make a Sweet 16.
Yeah, I think that they're, like you said, statistically, when you're looking at them, they're the team that has the pieces to make a run, right? And sometimes you got to look at the stats first and the names second, because you watch a game that, Vanderbilt's playing and you really don't know, besides Tyler, that you mentioned, Tyler Tanner, you really don't know who's going to be the one to step up, right? Because they have 3 bigs shooting over 50%, right? One of them may have a better game than the other, right? They are a physical defensive team. So you really can't tell it by like stardom who's going to, lead this run. But you look at the stats, they do have what it takes, with other Sweet 16 Elite 8 teams to match up. So I agree that like almost on paper, I like Vanderbilt. For me, sometimes it's more about what you see. So I would lean Arkansas as that team that's a little more dark horse for me, right? And definitely statistics-wise, you're going to need a better defense than what Arkansas is putting up. I think they're, just outside the top 40 in defense. But their offense has really come to life with this, middle-of-the-road SEC year that we're seeing. I love Darius Acuff. I think that he's tremendous. I think watching him play, I just love when your point guard's your best scorer, right? Obviously, we see those teams crash and burn sometimes, but how great is it that when, these games get tough and it really becomes a coin flip, that the guy with the ball in his hand is the best scorer that you have, right? And his rise in scoring, whether it be his athleticism or his shooting that is better than I expected it to be this year, has lifted his teammates as well, right? I think that it was a 2-man show at the beginning of it with him and their big Brazil.
Yeah.
Right, Brazil. But Malik Thomas has, subtly averaged 15 a game because Darius has taken so much of the defensive pressure, right? What he's able to do with his downhill drive is just bring so many people towards him in Brazil that you have to leave someone open, right? And that's Cal's offense, right? A huge point guard who can drive the lane. Like that's how he made what he did at Kentucky is always having this guy that could go full head of steam downhill. And you look at the guards in the NBA and it's all his guards, right? So I think Acuff's the next version of that. Obviously, I'd rather have Vanderbilt's defense than Arkansas's offense if I had to put a team in the Sweet 16 against someone they've never seen before. But why not, right? Why not Acuff catching Florida on an off night, right? Or getting it to be the tallest point guard in his region of the bracket, right? You just never know what it's going to be. So I like Arkansas, I like Cal, but I can definitely see where Vanderbilt might be a little more sure thing to be like, okay, you guys have gotten to this point in your season, like go win 4 more games, go win 3 more games. Vanderbilt definitely has the road to do that.